Stefanelli, radio check.
How long? Not long. How long? Because you shall reap what you sow.
Say again, please.
Reap, sow.
This is the beginning of thinking, this kind of dialogue.
You have to be careful because it can get into your subconscious. You hear it, you hear it, you hear it, you hear it.
We are gripped by forces we cannot control.
I'm gonna do my very best not to base our relationship on this first impression. But first impressions count for a lot.
This day, we rescue a world from mysticism and tyranny, and usher in a future brighter than anything we can imagine.
And you're listening to ReapSow Radio on ReapSowRadio.com and GodlessRadio.net. And we have a full lineup today. Mr. Stefanelli has decided to grace us with his presence, so that's a good thing.
Oh, my goodness.
Where have you been?
Oh, my. Well, just I've been down, been sick, been, just trying to recuperate.
All right, let's bring you up so we can hear you. We missed you.
Where you been? I was being... Well, my health's been kind of crappy.
That sucks.
Yeah. It goes with the territory, man. You get good spells and bad spells. It's just the way you go.
You look good in your picture, though.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Got a new tattoo. Got some new ink.
Nice.
Been nursing that.
What'd that cost you?
It was a gift. My daughter and son-in-law bought it for me.
So
I would imagine several $100s.
Yeah, I was going to say.
What'd you get?
It's a trinacria. It's a Sicilian symbol.
I was like, what the fuck is a trinacria?
I think it means don't fuck with me.
Probably.
Would be my guess.
Hey, it's a thing, man. It's a thing.
So,
tell you what, man. I should have done this a long time ago.
What?
Done this got rid of Windows.
Oh, yeah.
You know that I plugged my microphone in, my speakers in, and I clicked one button and everything works.
Yeah, that's why I love the MacBook Air. It's amazing.
And I don't have to keep going back into the control panel and re-choosing my speakers as oh my gosh,
as a source or whatever.
So do you have a Mac now, Al?
Yeah, I got a Mac Mini. Just got it this afternoon.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing it on Facebook. Yeah, cool.
It takes like 30 seconds to set those things up.
I gotta look it up now because I don't know what it looks like.
It looks like an Apple TV, but slightly bigger. It's just a really small square.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, got it hooked into a 23-inch flat screen, so I can see my shit.
After I saw your post, Al, I was thinking maybe I would get one and hook it into my my LCD big screen TV down in our den or whatever. That's like where our little theater style entertainment unit and everything is too. So yeah, I thought that would be a cool addition to that.
Yeah, I have my living room set up. I have a computer in my living room TV.
It makes a good. You can use it as a media center too. I've got my 46-inch plasma. I'm going to hook up to it as soon as my 50-foot HDMI cable comes in the mail.
Nice.
That'll take a little while.
50 feet.
I'm still trying to get used to stuff, that file formats and just stuff like that. Because I never had a Mac before.
Yeah, and software off the back of a truck is going to be a little bit more interesting to mess with.
Yeah, there's some things that I know I can't get. There's some things that are so much better. Yeah. So.
Well, good.
Right now, I'm trying to sign in a TweetDeck. But I like it.
It's your first day with it.
I've had so many problems. With Windows, especially as I even did the Windows 8.1 upgrade, and it keeps freezing up and locking up and blah 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 blah. So
that's weird because you hardly ever hear that about Windows happening with Windows.
I know.
I'm thinking Windows 9 will be okay. Windows 9 will be fine. It's every other one. Like Vista sucks, 7 was stable, 8 sucks, 9 will be stable.
10 will be a clusterfuck.
Yeah, 10 will be a fucking ridiculous. It'll be like
They'll
we're
have a
trying to
big
invent
fucking
holograms.
they'll have a big fucking celebration about it being Windows 10 and how big of a deal it's going to be, and it's going to be a total clusterfuck. It'll fucking crash a bunch of shit.
Well, you know what? I won't know. I've got and I got this keyboard, this really cool Connects keyboard that's got plugs into the back of the Mac, but it's got 3 buttons on it for Bluetooth, and all I do is I tap one button, and now the keyboard is working through Bluetooth iPad.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
So now I don't have to like go back and forth between keyboards, and there's a home button on the keyboard, which while I'm on the Mac will throw my iPad back to home. It's got some pretty cool stuff on it. Like
have
I said,
have you fucked around with AirDrop yet? AirDrop is fucking awesome. You can just be looking at something on your iPad and like hit share and send it straight to your Mac.
Got it. I've been setting it up. I've been downloading software. I'm downloading my graphics software. Download, configure VLC player, Spotify, Skype. Was a bit of a challenge, only because it's a Microsoft product and they don't play well together.
Yeah.
A few other things, just trying to. I've been pretty much playing with it most of the day, and I'm enjoying it. And I haven't even upgraded it yet. I'm planning on upgrading it to 8 meg of memory, but I'm not sure if I really need it now. I mean, it's got 4 meg, and it's not even it's faster than my laptop, which was an Intel i3, and this is only a Core Duo, something like that, 2-core, twin core.
Yeah.
And it seems to be. I'm not gonna screw with it, but I'm liking it, man. I like Safari. Safari's fast.
Yeah, Macs are pretty dope, man. I don't have any complaints about mine. I mean, I use a PC for my editing stuff, but I use my Mac. I have a MacBook Air, and that thing stays at my side for everything else. One of the cool things with Macs is like I said, the AirDrop and their Office software. Like how Windows charges like $150 for fucking Office and shit. Mac,
Wait,
they
charge you for Windows software?
Yeah, well, they give you their fucking Office software. You get Pages, Notes, all that shit for free with a Mac. They're just like, here, take it.
That's weird because I always got my Windows software for free too.
I think you got that a different way.
All I know is I got it for free.
I use Apache Open Office.
Oh yeah, I've used that. It works good. It's got all kinds of shit on it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It is an option.
Okay, Terry, what's going on with you this week?
I am on night number 2 of 2 weeks straight of training. So again, I'm on the road. I'm in a hotel. So
I know why you're on the road. Because I looked up where you live. You have to go on the road to find anything.
Listen. Don't display your ultimate American ignorance of where I live. Okay.
I just didn't realize how isolated the place where you live is until this week.
You only just thought that everybody in Canada, which is like the most geographically sparse country in the world, lived around Toronto.
Terry's only company is the wind.
I knew how big the country was, but I didn't know people actually lived in other parts of the country. I thought you guys just went there to hunt moose.
It's a vacation spot to camp.
Yeah, because Terry lives on a friggin' island, man. It's not even really an island. It's more like, I don't know. It's got so many lakes in it. It's almost like, I don't know what it is. It's weird.
Do you live on Oak Island?
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
No, I live in Newfoundland. How many times have I told you guys I live in Newfoundland, the island of Newfoundland? You don't even pay attention.
I was watching a special this week on the Curse of Oak Island, and I thought it was interesting.
I do happen to know at least the approximate location of North Carolina. I know the exact location of California.
That's because we have people here.
And you, sir, can go fuck yourself.
I'm just saying.
I just like the way that sounded to the mic. It was like, that's because we have people here.
That's a legitimate reason to know where we're at.
Hey, there's a lot of cool stuff here.
I'm sure there is. Everybody who lives in some nowhere in an isolated place says that.
No, seriously, fuck you, Colin, where I live nowhere. Go, seriously.
No, I said nowhere and isolated place, so it could be meaning isolated place where you live.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
You better quit while you're behind.
No, really, I stand by what I said.
How long of a trip do you have to take to get milk?
Oh,
Does it
fuck
involve a
off.
ferry
No, it's
ride?
not that small of a. It's not that small.
Holy Jesus. Man.
I think
If
it's
you're
like-
trying to drain some more water out of the IQ pool here, you're doing a pretty fucking good job.
What was it like? 52,000 people or something in the city, right?
What, in my hometown?
Yeah, something like that.
In Corner Brook, yeah, I think got about 52,000 people, yeah.
That's pretty small.
Listen, the whole I think I told you guys before, the whole population of the province, which would be like the equivalent to your state that I live in, is only 500,000. That's it.
Jeez.
Right? And we're a fairly big geographical area. Newfoundland is a pretty big island.
Yeah, it is.
Most of it is rural areas. There's only 3 you guys wouldn't even call them cities. You wouldn't even call our biggest city, which has about, I think, 250,000.
Wow.
You wouldn't even call that a city. You'd probably call that a town.
Oh no, it'd be a city, but
But you what I'm living in now, you definitely wouldn't call a city. But
no, we call it a city still.
Even 50,000?
Yeah, because the city I grew up in was Newark was only like 35,000. It's a city though.
Yeah.
I mean, the city I grew up in only has 25,000 people in it now, so it's way small.
The town, my hometown, when I was living there, had like a max of 1,500 people. 1,500 people, and now I think there's around 1,000. That's it.
Huh.
And a lot of the surrounding towns have like less than that, like 200, 300 people. Like a lot of the small, like those are like the villages, small towns in my province. So there's a lot of very small towns that are very secluded and isolated from the rest of civilization. But guess what? We can still get milk at our local stores.
What do you know? You're lucky.
I was just asking how long it took to get it.
Yeah, 5 minutes, okay?
Do you
Yeah,
own the
there's a
local
cow 5 minutes from him. All he has to do is go and milk it.
He's got a cow. A moose. I didn't know you could drink moose milk.
What? Moose milk?
Moose milk?
Is there such a thing?
That milk's really, really thick.
Gross. I
Yeah, that's
thought
kind of
goat's
gross.
milk
You're
was
supposed to
bad.
like churn it or something first.
Yeah. Okay, so do you have moose on your island anyways?
Yeah, we do. Actually, there's an interesting story behind that if you guys are interested.
I'm sure.
Moose were not native to the island of Newfoundland originally. We only had caribou. But back in, I can't remember what year, in the 1800s or 1700s or something, they were introduced by people who came from like mainland Canada, like Nova Scotia. And once they were introduced, they flourished because it's the exact type of environment that they would normally live in. And now we're overrun with them. So much so that they open moose hunting seasons in our national parks to try to cut down the populations because they're just like fucking ants, like an anthill for moose.
Huh. Because what predators are there for moose besides humans?
There's not a lot of predators except for humans. I mean, like we don't even have like I'm just trying to think. Like,
wolves,
we don't
maybe?
have a strong. We do have I think some wolves, and in recent years we've had booms in our coyote population, but they weren't native to the island either. They actually traveled to Newfoundland across on the ice flows that come from the more northern parts of Canada.
Huh.
But then all that stuff melted because of global warming, and now they can't get off.
No, they came on
Right.
the ice. No, they came across on the ice
I
flows,
was
right?
making a reference to last
Yeah.
week.
Like in the winter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it freezes then too, doesn't
Besides that, it's
Yeah.
getting colder. Ernest told us that. We should all know that by now.
Yeah, well, and it's climate change, right? Well, I mean, like one of the things I do for my job is I collect samples from like local plants that farm mussels or they process farmed mussels, and like in the last few weeks, I haven't been able to collect samples from them during certain parts of the week because the bays in which their ports are completely frozen over so the boats can't get in.
Huh. That doesn't usually happen.
Well, it's got to be pretty fucking cold for the ocean,
Yeah, no
even in
shit.
coastal shore, to be frozen over. So yeah, it's pretty cold. This is compared to the last, say, 5 or 6 years. This year is like a record setting in terms of cold and the amount of snow. Like I think I was, when I was on the way to the airport on Sunday, on the radio they announced that the total snowfall accumulations for my town that I live in, Corner Brook, has now been, let me see, almost 4 meters, which would be 12 feet.
Of snow?
Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking snow.
That is a lot.
We got like 4 inches here, and our fucking city collapsed.
Yeah, screw that. I hate snow.
I like snow.
So I looked up. Terry's like 3,000 something miles away from me.
That's nothing. You could walk.
Yeah, I didn't check to see. I was going to check and see how long it would take me to walk, because I was checking to see how long it would take me to walk to the American Atheist Convention one time.
Yeah, we did. We looked at that last year, didn't we? To see how long it would take you to walk there, because your car was all shitty.
Let's see. I'll look that up and see. What's your city called again?
Corner Brook, Newfoundland, Canada.
That's a town. That's what you call a town. I live in the Corner Brook, eh?
It will tell you the distance and how far it takes to walk.
I live in the Corner Brook. I live in Corner Brook.
Let's see.
Hey, there's towns in there's a town in my in my province called Dildo. There's another one called Hole in the Wall.
Who the hell names their town Dildo?
Isn't that where Ted Cruz is from? That's where Ted Cruz is from.
Dildo? We have a town in North Carolina.
Ted Cruz came from a dildo, not from dildo. Got it mixed up.
We have a town in North Carolina called Erect.
Called what?
Erect. Like Erect. And you have to go through there to get to Climax, North Carolina, which I always thought was kind of funny.
Get erect to go to Climax.
Yeah.
We have another another
about
town
23 miles south of me. You can go visit Gay.
You said there's a town called Gay?
You want? Yeah, it's just south of me.
There's another town in my province called Come By Chance. Another one called Conception Bay.
What's up with the perverts that live by you?
Dildo and Conception Bay.
Come By Chance.
You know, it gets cold up there in the winter. You gotta find something to do.
I guess. Just name funky names for towns? Is that what they do?
Yes.
What's the dirtiest shit we can call this place?
Yeah, nobody's ever going to look us up anyway, so fuck it. Call what we want.
Anybody want to go over to Bukkake? I hear they've got a good restaurant scene.
No, I'm going over to Shitville.
You guys are showing a lot of disrespect towards my province.
What? It's not disrespect. We're just making a little joke.
It's funny. Names are funny, dude. That's not disrespectful. It's embrace. We're at least telling people about those places. Nobody else is.
Yeah.
You know what's a really funny name?
Brian?
Yeah. You totally stole the words right out of my mouth.
I knew you were going to say that. That's how I did that.
You can call me Farmer Brian now because I've started planting vegetables on my deck.
What kind of vegetables did you plant?
I planted some jalapenos, some strawberries, some raspberries.
Aren't jalapenos a fruit?
Technically, yes.
Uh-huh.
Anything with a seed is technically a fruit.
Yeah, so you're planting fruits.
I planted some fruits and I planted some herbs. I planted sage and cilantro and yeah. So I'm going to be a farmer, I guess, of potted plants.
Of pot plants?
No, of potted.
Oh.
What good would it do for me to grow weed? Like, I can't smoke it. I guess I could sell it, but I think that would be kind of obvious on my back deck. Looks weird under the fucking thermal scans the helicopters fly over with.
I don't think they're going to thermally scan your house.
No, it's on my deck. It's just outside in the open.
They're not going to thermally scan your deck and find weed. I don't know, unless they have a huge problem with people growing weed outside on their deck. Your biggest problem would be the neighborhood kids stealing it from you.
Yeah, that would be a problem. I'm just like, what the fuck are you guys doing lining up at the bottom of my deck stairs?
Yeah.
Like, sir, can we have one,
on that
please?
subject, I have a story on that subject, too. Girl Scouts of Colorado are defending the organization's decision to effectively bar its members from selling cookies outside the state's marijuana dispensaries. There's a place for everything, and just like a liquor store or gun show, a marijuana dispensary isn't the place for young girls to be selling cookies. Rochelle Trujillo, Chief Marketing Officer for Girl Scouts of Colorado, told the Huffington Post. There are plenty of other options for customers of adult businesses to purchase cookies at other locations. This is in response to California Girl Scouts' ingenious strategy to sell cookies outside a medical marijuana dispensary. The Girl Scouts of Colorado issued a statement on its Facebook page saying members may not sell cookies outside recreational medical dispensaries.
That's so dumb too. Like I had somebody come into the store this week they sell Girl Scout. They were like, it was one of the moms of a Girl Scout, and she was like, "All right, now I've got to go and find a place to set up to sell these Girl Scout cookies." I was like, "Go in front of frat houses. Go anywhere college housing is."
Girl Scouts of Colorado doesn't allow Girl Scouts to sell cookies outside of any adult-oriented business, whether it's a bar, strip club, casino, liquor store, or marijuana dispensary. The statement read, "We recognize these are legitimate businesses, but we don't feel they are appropriate place for girls to be selling cookies." Some commenters applauded the decision, but others questioned the logic. "Grocery stores sell cigarettes and beer," wrote one user. "It's okay to sell the cookies outside of grocery stores. While I do not agree with Colorado legalization of marijuana, I feel that this is a huge missed opportunity to increase our sales," wrote another. Last week, Danielle Lay, a 13-year-old Girl Scout, sold 117 boxes of Girl Scout cookies outside San Francisco's Green Cross Medical Marijuana Dispensary in just 2 hours. The Girl Scouts of Northern California supported her strategy, and the mom decided this was a place where she was comfortable with her daughter being. Director of Marketing and Communications for Girl Scouts of Northern California told Mashable, "We are not telling people where they can and can't go if it's a legitimate business." And in Phoenix, Lexi Menez, a 8-year-old, inspired by Danielle, set up shop outside a medical marijuana dispensary. "For me, this isn't controversial," her mother said. "It's medication. It's no different than standing in front of Walgreens or CVS." So there you go.
Exactly. And it's like 117 boxes worth of money to fund the Girl Scouts, which is a good, reputable organization. That,
it's 117 boxes. Those things are like what, like $4 a box?
Something like that.
Yeah, that's what I said, 117 boxes worth.
One guy named Dude.
Do what?
Bought them all.
I mean,
Do what?
The one guy named Dude bought them all.
Yeah. That's like everybody's made like I've heard comedians make jokes about that before. Like you should set up in front of a weed sale store or some shit like that. Yeah. It's brilliant. Absolutely one of the best places you could set that at. Obviously. That or outside of a fitness center. Like
no shit.
Outside of fitness center around apparently like February is the time where everybody gives up on their New Year's resolutions. Because we've had like people from 2 different fitness gyms come into the store being like, "Hey, any of you guys want to sign up? We'll give you a discount." This is our hardest time of the year apparently is like February because everybody's giving up on their New Year's resolution after the month. They don't want to pay anymore. And it kicks up again apparently in like April because everybody's trying to get beach ready.
Oh, yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
It's funny. I remember when the place I used to work, we had a fitness center right next door, and I'd watch the people drive around trying to get the parking space as close to the fucking fitness center as they could so they wouldn't have to walk too far to get into it. It cracked me the fuck up. They like fucking fight over spots to get close enough.
I bought an exercise bike, and I just set it up today to try to lose some weight because I'm tired of being a fat fuck.
Yeah.
And I rode 3 miles in about 20 minutes on it.
Yeah.
With like the heavy resistance or whatever. I got up and I thought my knees were going to leave my fucking body. They were just like, "Get the fuck out of here. What are you trying to do? Go downstairs now?" I was like, "Sarah, can you come upstairs?"
You're crawling around the house for the rest of the day.
Yeah. It was tough, but I'm going to get thin again. I want to be thin again. I miss being thin. It was good times.
Better quit drinking so much.
Well, the bike is actually pretty cool because I can sync it with my iPad. And it's got an app and shit where I can track how many calories I burn. So I can be like, okay, that's 1 beer. That's 2 beers. So I figured if I just maintain a balance,
I get some low-calorie
beer. I can get like some low-calorie beer and then be like, okay, well, this beer's like 100 calories. So that's like about 1.25 miles that I have to ride the bike. So cut to like fucking one night on like one Friday night. And I'm like, fuck, I got to pedal 37 miles tomorrow.
Does anybody else agree with that logic?
Which logic?
Brian's logic.
About what?
Losing weight.
Basing, like, burning enough calories and then only
drinking beer.
So much of them back.
Keep drinking beer.
Well, no, because then I could just nullify and be like, okay, it's like I didn't drink at all and weight gain.
Isn't that more like maintenance?
Yeah. I'm not trying to be like, I'm not trying to be like fucking ripped with a 6-pack. I just don't want to be fat. That's my thing. I don't want to have this fat gut anymore because my legs and arms are still thin. Just my stomach is like, bleh. So I want to get rid of that.
Is it like one of those beer guts that's like out straight, or is it like all the way around with like the love handles too?
Sort of all the way around. Just kind of like I'm wearing a tire around the center.
Well.
So I want to get rid of that shit.
It's pretty descriptive.
So if I can get rid of that, I feel good. And I've also got it set up in front of my TV that I have my Xbox hooked up to. Because today I was playing Killer Instinct on Xbox One, and I noticed when I started doing like a combo or something, I would start pedaling faster, and that was kind of cool. I went from 8 miles an hour up to 16 miles an hour at one point in time because I was like, fucking kick his ass.
Sure, Xbox is
helping me.
Yeah.
I think I found one of the laziest ways I can possibly exercise.
I'm sitting in that thing you sat at your desk and pedaled.
I was going to get a recumbent one, but I didn't. I figured out my desk was too low for me to actually move my knees up and down.
Yeah.
So I just got an exercise bike that it's got wheels on it. I can just roll it over in front of my desk. So I can still sit here and look at the TV that I've got. I've got a TV on my, a 32-inch on my desk as well that I've got the Xbox hooked up to. So I can sit there and fucking pedal on the Xbox or pedal on the thing. So I found the laziest way possible to work out.
Why don't you
Aside from I have a Kinect, but then I have to stand up and be active.
Oh.
As opposed to sitting down playing a video game any game. I bought that new game Thief today, and it's pretty fun. I sat there and played it for 20, 30 minutes.
I was going to get that last night.
It's good, dude. I like it so far. It's pretty clever.
I got, what's it called? Earth something 2025. They're supposed to fight these insects that are invading the Earth.
Okay.
Totally cheesy game. Totally cheesy.
Okay.
Don't get it.
Yeah, I got Thief today, and then I was playing Killer Instinct. Like I said, as soon as I started fucking doing something awesome in the game, I start pedaling faster. So that was cool. And then the one I got has a Bluetooth sync to it, so I can sync it to an app on my iPad, so I can track all my shit. And I can control the bike with my iPad too. I can be no, make the tension more.
Can you order food while you're on it?
Yeah, because I have a web browser, so I can go to fucking Domino's.com and fucking order a pizza if I wanted to.
I'm just curious. How you do that.
Don't even ring the doorbell. Just come in and bring it upstairs. Can you feed it to me?
Follow the sound of the bike pedaling.
I just picture this app, this Domino's app, and so the way it works is there's an empty pizza pan there, and you start pedaling, right? And so it's a small pizza is worth 1,000 calories.
Yeah, you got to pedal
right?
to
So
it.
You got to pedal until, and then once you reach the end, then it'll send the order out automatically.
That's what
right?
you should do with your beers, Brian. You should not be able to have a beer until you pedaled X amount of pedals or whatever X amount.
Well, today I told Sarah, I burned 200 calories in that little bike ride. That's a beer, right? And she was like, I guess. I was like, cool. And then I was fucking starving after I pedaled for a while. I didn't eat anything all day. And then I got home at 4, and like I said, I did 3 miles. And 3 miles isn't that much, in general. I don't think that's that far to ride on a bike. Or on a stationary bike at best. But I did that because, I haven't fucking done anything athletic or active-wise in 10 years, probably. So I give myself a fucking aneurysm.
I ran 4 miles of intervals today and about...
What, to get milk?
50, yeah. Through snow, and with the wind in my face, uphill both
soda.
ways. What?
I'm proud of you that you're thin and fit and can run 4 miles. I walk up the stairs... Last night, bringing the fucking thing upstairs to my office, I got up to the top of the stairs. I was like, holy shit. I was fucking winded.
It's your first workout is getting it in the house.
I was like, what the fuck? The picture said it weighed 15 pounds. This thing is obviously 125
fucking liars.
pounds.
This thing's got to be weighed 75 at least.
I'm dragging it up one step at a time. Sarah's just watching me from the top.
I got to take this out of the box. It's way too heavy with the box on it.
I open it up downstairs and take it up piece by piece. I was like, well, we can't move out of this house. And she was like, why not? I was like, I'm not dragging that bike back down the stairs.
That thing's heavy.
It's fucking heavy. So, yeah. But yeah, I'm growing vegetables now. And I'm going to fucking pedal myself to thin, I guess. Or at least not fat.
You should ride the exercise bike while we do the podcast.
Yeah, about fucking 20 minutes in, I'm like, all right, is it time for a cigarette yet?
You can always start drinking diet soda, too.
I thought about doing that because it's really quiet. It doesn't make any noise because it's all sound insulated and shit. It's just resistive bands. But I thought about doing that, but the mic stand I have currently won't reach when I'm pull up to the desk. So I might get a new mic stand to do that.
Wireless headset.
And pedal. So what?
Wireless headset.
I like my microphone. I really do. I want to just keep my microphone.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to get rid of your microphone.
Yeah, or you could just use the iPad and Skype on the iPad and Skype in, like I do.
No, I have nice stuff.
Oh.
I don't like hearing the sound come back through. That's why I use nice headphones and a nice microphone.
Okay, so anyways, speaking of diets,
with Terry,
I don't hear any sound come back through.
That's because you're on the side that it's coming through.
Can I get on with the story now?
Yeah, what's going on?
Okay.
Diet.
In an effort to manage weight as a teenager, Jakai Balan's doctor told her to stop drinking so much regular Coke. It was an easy enough beverage to part with, too, because this other thing existed, Diet Coke, a sweetened soda without any consequences at all. So Jackie began drinking Diet Coke like it was water. Water filtered through bacon strips with chocolate at the bottom of every glass. Over the course of her young adulthood, she developed a habit that would eventually lead to her consuming 28 pints of Diet Coke per day, which amounted to double her own weight of Diet Coke each week.
Holy shit.
Of course, there were side effects. Miss Balan says she suffers constant headaches, recently began experiencing hallucinations, which she blames on the drink. She says, I see things like oranges flying across the room. She said, I dread to think what my insides look like. Miss Balan recently visited her GP, but he told her there was nothing he could do. But Dr. Sarah Schlinkler, a dietitian at the British Dietetic Association, urged her to try cognitive behavioral therapy, said that the phosphoric acid contained in the drink would eventually damage her bones. The woman suffering from cravings that are influencing her life, Diet Coke is part of her routine and reward system. Her brain may be responding to it. Never mind the fact that Diet Coke consumption can be pretty expensive. Jackie estimates she spent about, 150,000 pounds on Diet Coke, which means she spent about $1 billion or so to melt down her own teeth. So,
holy shit.
That's a lot of Diet Coke.
Yeah.
I heard Diet Coke was bad for you anyways, besides just making...
I mean, there's like acids in it that'll fuck up your teeth and stuff.
Well, yeah, besides that, I thought the sweetener they were using or whatever was fucking...
Didn't they used to use aspartame, which is like bad or some shit for rats?
No,
it's bad for mice.
There's certain people who have what's called PKU, which is phenylketonuria. They have sensitivity to the amino acid phenylalanine, and they can't have products that have aspartame. But
isn't the ketones what causes diabetes and/or cancer issues, or that's what they look for?
No, well,
ketones is in cancer, correct, or tumors? They look for certain ones or some shit like that.
No, ketones are just organic molecules that like carbon chains that have a double bonded oxygen in the middle of the carbon chain. That's all a ketone is.
Okay. Huh. I wonder what my fucking veterinarian was talking about when he's talking about we look at certain ketones and that gives us an estimation of what's going on in this, if it's cancerous, if blah, blah, blah. Maybe my vet was crazy. I don't know.
What? What's cancerous?
No, nothing's cancerous, apparently. When I took a cat in one time to the vet, they were like, yeah, we check ketones, and they have different levels of these types. Yeah. And that means we need to look for this specific thing or something like that. And I don't remember what exactly, though, it was. So maybe I'm wrong, probably, somehow.
What happened?
I don't know. We were talking about ketones, and then you went away.
Yeah, I don't know. We're fine. Why? What happened to you?
Okay. Well, did you hear what I said about ketones?
Oh. Well, then you dropped out because I was explaining, like, when I went to this veterinarian with my cat one time, they said that they look at certain ketones, and then based on those, they can figure out kind of what else to look for. But I'm not sure what that meant.
I'm not sure what that means, and I'm not saying that that's wrong. What you said might have been right, but from my understanding, from a chemistry understanding, a ketone is just a carbon chain that has a double bonded oxygen in the middle. They don't inherently have I would say cancer-causing properties, but like anything that has a double bond,
they were like a byproduct or something. That way they knew how to look for something. I'm not sure exactly though.
Yeah, that's possible. But anyway, I'm not sure if you guys heard, but I basically said all the studies of aspartame thus far have not supported any evidence for a link to cancer or anything like that.
What about those mice?
It's just people. Yeah, well, but what is that? That doesn't prove anything for humans. The studies on
it gives
human
mice
consumption.
cancer, so don't feed your mice aspartame.
I'll be sure not to do that.
Yeah,
that's right. Make sure you have your mice drinking regular Coke instead of Diet Coke.
Yeah, that's much safer. I like Pepsi myself.
Me too.
Pepsi.
I don't really drink soda unless it's got liquor in it. I haven't drank soda except for root beer. That is the only soda I will drink. I don't, unless it's got booze in it. If it's got booze in it, I'll drink it. Like Red Bull, I'll drink that with vodka. Do you consider Red Bull a soda?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
Worse than a soda, though.
Yeah, it's an energy drink. You know, there's some serious
in Canada now they're actually being more strictly regulated because there's a lot of because they don't really regulate. They're considered natural health product here, and they don't really regulate how much, or at least they didn't used to regulate how much caffeine they put in them. And some people were having like heart problems and stuff because they're like drinking kids, little kids were drinking like 3 or 4 of them a day just to get high, and so now they're being regulated.
Yeah. Yep, I like vodka and Red Bull. That shit'll fuck you up.
Vodka, Red Bull's good. I like Jaeger and Red Bull.
I don't like Jaeger. It's too much like syrup. It's nasty.
That's why you thin it out like a cocktail with Red Bull.
Dude, if you have to thin it out, fuck that. Ugh, yeah.
Can we take a quick break? I gotta go get a diet soda.
Yeah, we'll take a break. Brian needs
He's
a
like, I'm gonna
cigarette
start tripping balls.
Brian needs to get on the exercise bike and have a cigarette, so...
While drinking a beer. It's got a cup holder on the front of it today. I was like, I bet that holds a beer.
Can you solve an 8-step puzzle at the same time?
While pedaling? Dude, I kind of fucked myself up when I first started playing a video game today while I was pedaling. I was like, okay, this is weird to be... It was like rubbing your stomach and patting your head. But then I got used to it after like 10, 20 seconds. And I was like, okay. But when I first started doing it, I was like, this is fucking weird. Because I'm trying to run left and right in the game, but I'm just pedaling forward, so it was fucking with me. But it was fun.
That must have been fun to watch, too.
Yeah. My wife is like, you're going to be the first idiot to fall off a fucking exercise bike.
Good support there. Very supportive.
You're going to fall off that fucking thing, but she's like, get thin. You're going to fall off that fucking thing before you get thin.
I went downstairs after 20 minutes. I was like, am I skinny yet? Do you like me more now?
She goes, no, keep pedaling.
She was like, get back upstairs. I'm working on my Korean website.
She doesn't even look up. She goes, keep pedaling, Brian.
Yeah, just keep pedaling. I'll know it when I can't hear you coming down the stairs.
You'll know when my opinion changes.
Yeah, when I can't hear you come down the stairs.
Until then, my answer is pedal. All right, listen to ReapSow Radio. We'll take a break. We'll be back.
Hey.
I was thinking we should take a poll on how long it's going to take me to kill my garden.
I thought, can't you grow things? You're a chef, right? You're trying to grow food?
I'm not a farmer.
I think...
Does that have a big difference?
I think the fact that you have it growing...
Mitch Hedberg has a whole joke about that. He was like, I'm a stand-up comedian.
You're listening to ReapSow Radio, and I just think that if somebody can prepare food, they should be able to grow it.
Last time I tried to grow basil, they all sprouted. They were looking great. They were about 2.5, 3 inches high. The next day I come out, there's just weird, like, gray moss growing on top of them, and they all died. So today I texted my wife when I was at the store, and I was like, so I'm going to buy raspberries and stuff. She was like, this is more of just an experiment to see how long it takes you to kill a plant, isn't it?
What's so hard about growing a plant? You plant it, you water it, you feed it, you give it sun.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. There should be like is it going to take 2 months to kill it? Am I going to get any actual usable food off of it?
When it flowers, the peppers, when they flower, take a Q-tip and go like around the middle of the flower. What's it? Just making it have sex with itself.
That could be some weird fucking plant.
It's like you're jacking off a flower, kind of.
Pornologist.
Oh.
I wonder if that's a job, pornologist.
Kind of like that. There's people that specialize in that. What are you talking about?
I guess so. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. My friend that I was going to the store with today, because he's got like a full greenhouse and everything where he grows like all kinds of tomatoes and shit like that.
So he's jacking off flowers all the time.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, you should try this. And I was like,
you should try this. It's fun. Jacking off flowers is cool.
I sit in my little room and just rub them with Q-tips. But I have a whole house for it. It's a greenhouse.
It's a whorehouse for plants.
It's that the inside of this room is going to be yellow in April.
Yellow?
From the pollen.
Oh.
Are we broadcasting on Godless Radio this week?
I think so. The site's still up. I haven't paid the site, so.
Oh, okay. I'm just trying to figure out if Sonny's actually hearing us or actually...
Oh, if she's listening on Godless Radio, it's us, yeah.
Like an old show or something? Because
has she heard us talk about plants and bicycles yet?
That's what I was just asking her. I said, are you hearing us? We're talking about gardening, because she only just tuned in just a short while ago. And she said, nope. She said it seems like it's delayed, so I'm just wondering if she's hearing it or if she's hearing an old show or something. But
no, it's probably delayed. It's delayed like 60 seconds, I think. 30 or 60 seconds, something like that.
Oh, yeah. That's not much of a delay, though.
No, it's not.
We've been talking about gardening for the last 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah. I don't know, we should be on Godless Radio, but I don't know. I don't even know. Like I said, I haven't paid the site yet. They want too much money. I'm pretty broke.
Oh, she's hearing us now. She's hearing us, I think, in real time now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Make sure she
So we've
washes her
got
feet. Tell her to
someone-
wash her feet. Oh, I can tell her to wash her feet.
Yeah, wash your feet.
Yeah, you
People
okay?
like that. Take video of it, post it on Reddit, and you'll make $1 million.
Let's see.
It's fun to do shout-outs like that to like people that actually listen to the show.
Oh, yeah, we are on GodlessRadio.net. So.
There's one guy that posts on almost every single episode of A News. He's like, "Great show, guys. Thanks. Keep it up." I had to give him a shit. Like after like 10 of those, I was like, "Dude, thank you for posting on every single. That's awesome."
Oh, I was on A News this last week too.
Yeah, it'll be up tomorrow.
What's taking so long, man? It's not like you're working.
I was out buying fucking plants and a bicycle today, dude.
Get your priorities straight.
I'm gonna exercise and cut the show tomorrow.
Great. How many calories does that burn?
It depends on how long it takes me. I'm averaging about 200 every 20 minutes. Yeah. So
this one's probably going to take you a while to edit because a bunch of crap, right? Because we didn't have the guest and all that, all that, whatever.
No, it shouldn't be. It should be fine. We lost Sheila for a minute, but it should be fine.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't really cut that much out of the show. I mean, as long as we're talking, I'll just kind of let it run.
Yeah, I know how you feel.
I'm like that's what I was talking to Mr. Dragonbeard earlier this week, and I was like, dude, you do so much post production, it's incredible.
Oh,
like
yeah,
he'll like fucking he'll write a song about you and like do stuff like that. I was like, I literally just like truncate silence and then cut out dead parts.
Yeah, I cut all the silences down.
And thank you you told me how to do that like back a long time ago. I guess that back whenever we first started talking and stuff. You were like, yeah, truncate silence. It's a fucking cool ass feature.
Yeah, you can do it so that it makes it sound like we're all fucking talking hella fast too.
Yeah, we're like on point like every second of the time. We're just
damn,
like, oh yeah,
those guys are right on top of shit.
Meanwhile, in the actual broadcast, it was like fucking a 3-4
silence. Yeah.
Yeah. That'll be interesting if everybody ever if we're ever at a conference, I'm doing like a live show, like me and Lee and whoever else on A News, and there's just like, all right, guys, will anything else happen? Just like dead silent. We're here at a conference. I guess that's something we could talk about.
We talked about that already.
Yeah. Brian, you already said that joke, and you're still not.
Oh, you guys are being we're all being called weak because we only told her to wash her feet.
What? That's the only thing you told us about.
Yeah, I know, but it's funny.
I was gonna tell you guys something too, but I don't remember what it was now.
Should we tell her? Do we have to tell her to wash the rest of herself as well? Hey, don't forget the other parts. You can get dirt in those too.
Especially the important ones. Remember to wash behind everything too.
Yeah. Front to back.
Front to back.
Oh, I gotta tell my story. After you tell your story, I gotta tell my story about how I had Mormons come to my door and I spoke to them.
Yeah. Tell us that story. I don't have a story. Go ahead, tell us the story. About the Mormons.
Okay, well, I guess it was was it last week? I think it was either early last week or the week before. My wife and I were home watching TV, and it was about 8:30 p.m. in the evening, and when it was completely dark outside, got this knock on the door. So I went out, and it was like a couple of young guys, and we have college kids living in the other side of the townhouse we live in, and so I was kind of expecting something stupid because whenever they knock on our door, it's like, eye roll, like whatever, what I mean? Fuck off, leave me alone. Yeah, well, I don't know, like they're just being stupid or asking for something stupid. And anyway, so as I got closer to the door, I could see these guys are pretty young. So anyway, I opened up the door and they said, "We're Mormons." And I said, "Oh." I said,
Slam.
I'm sorry.
Well, they...
Are you lost?
So anyway, they just started and on their spiel, and I said, I'm just going to stop you right there. I said we're atheists. I said, so it's probably not going to do much good whatever you had to say. And then, so we just chit chatted a little bit, and then he said, well, how long did you at one time did you believe in God? And I said, no, not really. I said, I've kind of never really bought into it myself. And I said to him, and to be quite honest, I've done a lot of reading. I've read select religious, literature, different things. I've read like a lot of other books on religion and a lot of various things. And to be quite honest, I don't see any evidence to support their existence of a God or the reality in any of those claims, right? And these, like I said, these guys were young. The guy who was doing most of the talking, he looked a little bit older, a little bit more ready for this. But the other guy in the back, with everything that I said, basically with a lot of confidence that, you know, I didn't believe in this stuff because I'd done some really good reading. He like, all the color was just draining out of his face. Like, he just couldn't believe.
He's like, I knew this was bullshit, but this guy's actually saying it.
Well, and the funny thing is that, like, because as we discussed earlier, where I live, it's a very small population, and in Canada we don't really talk about religion very much. So even if most people who are atheists who live here probably wouldn't volunteer that information, you know, to anyone at the door, right? Yeah. So I could tell they were surprised just right off the bat for me doing that. And like, anyway, at the end of the conversation, I just basically said, you know, I'm not here trying to argue with you or anything. I said, but, you know, I thought you should know so that the next time you're walking by, you can just keep on walking. And anyways, they were very friendly and amicable about it, and I was too. But like, I could tell the looks on their faces, like, that they were going to run back to their little flock and be like, you're not going to believe what happened. You know what I mean? Like, but anyway, that was the first time I ever really had an encounter like that. And the funny thing is, I went back in after I was talking with him. My wife said, I thought you were going to do a lot better than that. And I was like, oh, well, next time they're getting invited into the table, because if she hadn't been home, because she's not really as outspoken about this stuff as me, if she wasn't there, I would have invited them in for like a cup of tea and had them sit down and talk.
I think they're in a recruitment stage right now, because my wife took my ability to do that away this week, because we had Mormons coming through the neighborhood that I live in, and she was like walking, like she took the dogs out or whatever, went out to her car or something, and she came back. She was like, "Hey, there's some Mormons up the street," and I was like, "Sweet, they're gonna knock on our door." Like, I start fucking Googling every resource I can to be like, all right, evidence to disprove this, blah, blah, blah. I had like a pie chart ready and shit on at the ready. And I was like, I can't wait till they knock on the door. I can't wait till they knock on their door.
They didn't knock on the door.
She went outside to get something else. They were like, hey, you know, we're Mormons, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, hey. And they were like, can we talk to you for a minute? She's like, no, not really. And she's like, can we give you a flyer for the church? She's like, I don't really want that. They're like, okay, have a nice day. And she comes back inside. She was like, yeah, I just sent them on. And I was like, why would you do that? Why? Let me talk to that. This is the most fun I can have at home. Is inviting these people in and being like, let's sit down at the table, guys. We got some stuff to talk about.
The only thing that could be better is if you could be masturbating while you're doing it.
Or playing my Mormon drinking game that I created.
What do you put on, magic underwear?
Masturbate with flowers.
Did I tell you guys about the Mormon drinking game?
You can masturbate your flowers while you were talking to the Mormons.
Yeah, I can sit there just rubbing a Q-tip. See what I'm doing here?
See, boys, what I'm doing? This is nature. This is science.
This is biology and herbogenics or some shit. That is. But
if there was a God, would he let me jack off flowers like this in front of you guys?
Flower porn. Flower porn.
But just for those listening, I do want to say that the drinking game that's really fun to do with Mormons is that invite them in, pull out a bottle of liquor and a shot glass, and tell them every time they make some sort of logical fallacy or fuck up with something that breaks logic, you're going to take a shot.
Did you say just for people listening?
No, I said I wanted to do that for the people listening.
Oh, there's somebody listening.
Maybe later they'll download it. I mean,
by accident,
or not.
Maybe you're right.
Yeah,
might happen.
They'll click on the wrong show and be like, "Hey, that sounds like a fun game to play with religious people."
Yeah, the only problem is they're gonna have to be an hour into the show before they hear that. They're never gonna make it.
Slice this out, put it before my bicycle talk.
Okay, so yeah, the Mormons used to come to my house too. Actually, I had these religious ladies who used to come to my house all the time, but when I asked them if they wanted to come on the radio show, they quit coming around. They didn't come around anymore.
Yeah, when I first moved to Raleigh, we actually had two that were from Utah. That was like, one was an ex-punk rock kid, and he was all Mormon and stuff. And we invited him in, and they ended up coming there every week for 45 minutes a week to talk to us. They brought like flanographs and shit. Like, well, let me show you this little fucking thing. And I was like, this is like Sunday school, like preschool Sunday school. You have like charts and flanographs and stuff. So I thought it was adorable.
This is why God loves you. Follow the chart.
Yeah. And I would just get drunk, like just drinking Jaeger bombs and fucking vodka shots and shit like that the whole time they're telling me about it. And I have questions, like raising my hand when it's just me and them two talking. So they eventually stopped when they had to move back to some other city. But it was a good 6-8 weeks when they came by every week.
I'm kind of curious why Terry has Mormons out where he lives. Who the hell? What the hell? Why are they sending Mormons out there?
Well, they're not being sent from.
Oh, I thought they were being sent from the headquarters in Utah.
Utah. Yeah, they're not saying. All right, like when they have to go on their mission, some people get to go like to these exotic warm countries, even though they're like war torn or whatever. But like if you're not a very good Mormon, you get sent to like northern Canada.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Then you guys are all nice and shit. You'll just let them in because it's cold outside. They're just like, can we just please come in? It's cold.
Well, what's really funny is that you, when Sonia heard us say that, she said that she had Mormons come to her door and they didn't have any mitts, so she offered them mitts or gave them mitts to eat. And then as they left, she said, "Did any Christians offer you any mitts?"
Nice.
What did they say to that?
I don't think they said anything. She didn't say, so she probably said it and then closed the door. Didn't give them opportunity to
close the door. Go think about that, boys.
What if they were like, well, actually, and they pull out a fucking grocery bag full of mitts?
Yeah, yes, every one of them has.
Shit.
In fact, the last one gave us leather mitts.
Yeah. They're like, actually, this is just a scam to get mitts. We're opening up a consignment shop. We've just been walking around acting like our hands are cold, and we're reselling these things on eBay and shit to other Canadians.
Maybe they'll pull out binders full of mitts.
Were they riding bikes, Terry?
You can't ride your bike in like
That's what I figured.
8 inches of snow.
But all the Mormons I've ever seen are always riding bikes here.
Yeah, you'd have a hard time riding up the hill that I live on in this much snow on a bike, believe you me.
Huh. A lot of the ones that come through here, they take a car to like a neighborhood. Like they all get in a fucking car, drive to like an area.
Lazy Mormons where you live.
Yeah. I see some still on bicycles, but they're normally more in downtown area, not like in the rural area.
Yeah.
The rural area,
Terry's kind of got some hardcore Mormons if they're walking around in that cold ass fucking weather.
Yeah.
I got something else I want to ask you guys' opinion on.
Oh, good.
I was in a course a couple of weeks ago, and the instructor, it was a safety course, and we were discussing how if we have to jump off a boat, like abandoned ship, in an emergency situation, he was saying that if you're in a group of people that has abandoned ship, you have to give lots of clearance, right, on each side. You don't want to jump too close to another. But here was his reasoning, and I know this is not the only reason, but it really bugged me, and I want to know if it would bug you guys. He said, he compared himself, he was a big man, he had a big beer belly. He said, now if I jump off, and I'm in close proximity to Rochelle, and this was a girl in the course who was very petite, and if we jumped off the same, and basically the proper way, which is to like link your feet together, form almost like a straight up and down as much as you can, and jump in feet first. If you do that, who do you think is going to hit the water first? He was implying that he's going to hit the water first because he's a bigger guy, right?
Yeah,
and it drove me. What?
Is that supposed to be how it works?
Well, I mean, it bugged me because, and I'm sure you guys, as you know, aside from extremes of air resistance, everything falls at pretty much the same rate. You got to have a big difference, right?
Is he also a fucking sugar glider? Like he has wings that he flaps out when he falls?
He have some kind of gravitational boots he's going to wear when he pull him down to the earth quicker?
Yeah.
Did you raise your hand and say, bro, do you even science?
Yeah.
Well, see, I never had any intent of doing it in front of the class. I briefly entertained the idea of talking to him after, but then I was like, no, I'm not going to do that because I'm not sure. And Sonia was in this course with me, and I briefly talked to her, but afterwards she was just like, calm down, calm your hormones, let it go. Right? And so I just let it go. But when I went home and talked to my wife about it, I was like, don't you agree? And she was like, no, I don't agree. She said, because it didn't make any difference to the advice. The advice still stands. You shouldn't jump in close proximity to someone. You know what I mean? When you're going over the side of a boat, it's just that that reasoning that he had that one person will hit the water before the other if you jump at the same time, that's wrong. But it doesn't really matter in the practical application of the instruction, right?
Wait, are you trying to get us on the side so you can piss off your wife and prove her wrong?
No, not at all.
Okay. Because I'm on your side. I'm like, no, that is an issue. He's giving correct advice under a false pretense. So
but I think
it
undermines his credibility.
Yeah.
But I think that the point, because I actually agree with my wife to the point that in that context,
more than likely, me doing that would not come across very well, no matter how I delivered it.
Is he a superior of yours in any way?
No, definitely not.
Yeah, you should have told him afterwards. You should have said, "Look, dude, just so you know, and don't look stupid next time you do this. Here's some science for you."
All things fall.
Yeah, I know, right? But I was just, I didn't do it. But I can see where my wife was coming from. But like, I guess, like she said to me, like she said, there's a very good chance that he would have looked at you and said, you must think you're some smart ass. You know what I mean? That type of thing.
Well, smarter than you.
Yeah, stop being a dumbass, so I don't have to prove I'm a smart ass.
If you were so dumb, I wouldn't look so smart.
But I mean, like, you know, I just think it's important to I would like for people to have a general literacy about science. Like, I think it is important that people would understand that, you know, unless you're under extreme different like wind resistant type properties,
like a feather versus a bowling ball.
Yeah, exactly. And even then, it isn't because they're a different mass. Because if you were to take a feather and a penny, which weighed about the same thing, the penny would hit first, but not because of their mass. Because
in a vacuum, they fall at the same speed. So, yeah, that's all you gotta say. In a vacuum, everything falls at the same speed. The planet is close enough to where you're not gonna hit any wind resistance, unless he's like fucking. What is he jumping into a geyser?
or like if like over that short distance, probably like 25, 30 feet, the height of the side of a vessel, you're not going to see any difference, right? But if you were like in free fall, exactly.
You'd have to be falling pretty fucking fast to be able to make a difference in that distance of falling. I mean,
are they going to shoot him out of a cannon into the water?
What the hell? Something sucking him down into the water?
Fucking Kraken, just like, come here, and rips him off the boat. He's like, it's a good thing I went first. She could have been killed.
Oh man, my gut killed that thing.
Clogged its mouth.
Oh, shit, that's also a hook right there. Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, I think you should have told him after class though, so he doesn't look stupid later.
I think, but I mean, like, based on his, I guess, demeanor.
IQ?
I mean, he seemed like a nice enough guy. Like, he seemed like a nice guy, but like,
I really thought you were going to say based on his girth, I didn't want to approach him.
I'm really afraid he was going to kick your ass.
Yeah. You probably would have knocked me out with his beer gut. No.
He's all, let's see who hits the ground first now.
Just because you're a fat ass doesn't mean you fall faster. You still fall the same speed, but you're just going to hurt more.
Quit giving your fat so much credit.
Oh, man.
That would have been the polite way to say it.
And given your buoyancy, you might have been a flotation device for
You
her.
could be a flotation device. Maybe you should jump first in order to be a flotation device for the other people.
Be like Rose and fucking Titanic. You could be the giant door that saves her, and then you guys could live.
You could be a hero.
Yeah. Everybody else is clinging onto him, trying to climb.
He's all getting pissed off. You're all, what? You could be a hero. You'd save lives. Why are you getting mad about that?
When he describes this guy, I'm just thinking of the fucking boat captain from Simpsons. That dude
I'm thinking of the dude with the big beard and mustache.
Yeah. Like, jump
wearing
off
some kind of gym suit.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
He's just
I'm glad this...
Cling to me, small children and petite women.
Hairy guy too. Hair on his back, probably.
I'm glad at least to hear you guys like kind of agree, but you know, like I can see both sides of it, but like I find it really hard to.
Don't raise your hand in the middle of his presentation. Excuse me, sir.
That's not accurate.
32 feet per second. So, your math is fucked up.
Yeah.
That's not how you fall off the boat.
Hello, dummy.
And you stand up, you're like, hey, can everybody else in the class agree with me? This guy's a fucking rip-roared idiot.
Everything he says is probably bullshit. He can't get this right. What can he get right?
Do you want to go on a boat with this guy? He's going to abandon ship first.
You trust this guy to save your life? Man.
Yeah, I don't think you should do that.
I want to know why you have to take training safety classes to jump off a boat when you're going on a cruise or something?
No, it's because certain parts of our work require us to be on boats occasionally, and so we have to be familiar with what
that often sink.
It doesn't matter if they often sink. The boats can fucking sink. The ocean is a very difficult place to be, especially if it starts to sink. So I want to know how to get off that goddamn boat safely.
In the
that's a good point.
life that they hopefully provide. Why the have you just abandoning ship?
Why does it matter anyway? You're going to freeze to death in that water.
Yeah. Sonia's in the chat room, guys. Sonia's in the chat room now.
Hey, what's up? Our biggest fan.
Until Brian runs her off. Let's talk about something else here. I got one more story. You guys know about this one already, and Brian, we talked about this on A News. Let me see. 3 Republican Arizona state senators who voted for a bill allowing business owners who with strongly held religious beliefs to refuse service to gays sent a letter to Governor Jan Brewer on Monday urging her to veto the legislation. Let's see. The letter came as more prominent Republicans pressed the GOP governor for a veto, including Senator John McCain. 5 of 7 Republican candidates for governor also have called for the bill to be vetoed or withdrawn. The latest is Frank Riggs, a former California congressman, who said it is a solution in search of a problem. And State Senator Bob Worsley, Adam Driggs, and Steve Pierce sent their letter urging the veto just days after they joined the entire 17-member Senate GOP caucus in voting for the bill. I think laws are on the books that we need, and we have now seen the ramifications of my vote, Worsley told the Associated Press. I feel very bad, and it was a mistake. The legislation has set off a firestorm across the nation from gay rights backers and politicians of all stripes. Arizona's 2 Republican U.S. Senators, Jeff Flake and McCain, are urging a veto, as are business groups like the Arizona Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And McCain weighed in Monday with a tweet saying, I hope Governor Brewer will veto Bill SB 1062. The bill is being pushed by the Center for Arizona Policy, a social conservative group that opposes abortion and gay marriage. The group says the proposal is needed to protect an increasingly activist federalist court and simply clarifies existing state law. CAP President Kathy Hedrod is urging Brewer to sign the legislation and deriding what she called fear-mongering from its opponents. Oh, man. The attack on SB 1062 represent precisely why so many people are sick of the modern political debate, Herod wrote in a weekend posting on the group's website. Instead of having an honest discussion about the true meaning of religious liberty, opponents of the bill have hijacked this discussion through lies, personal attacks, and irresponsible reporting. Our elected leaders have a fundamental duty to protect the religious freedom of every Arizonan, and that's what SB 1062 is all about. Let's see. If SB 1062 is vetoed, it will be a major defeat for Herod's group, which is seen as a powerful force on the Arizona political scene. Herod suffered a similar defeat last year when she tried to get the legislator to tack anti-abortion language onto a Medicaid expansion bill that Brewer was pushing. That effort angered Brewer, herself a strong opponent of abortion. The bill is expected to be formally transmitted to Brewer as early as Monday, and then she'll have 5 days to act. Brewer doesn't comment on pending legislation, but she vetoed a similar measure last year. That action, however, came during an unrelated political standoff. It's not clear whether she would reject this plan or support it. And businesses lining up against the plan, Brewer could have cover for a veto. She's worked hard to return Arizona's economy to pre-recession levels with business-friendly incentives and tax cuts. And Pierce said he and others went along to present a solid Republican front despite misgivings. We were uncomfortable with it to start and went along with it thinking it was good for the caucus. Pierce said, we really didn't want to vote for it, but we made a mistake and now we're trying to do what's right and correct it. But their letter also said that while the intent of their vote was to create a shield for all citizens' religious liberties, the ban has been mischaracterized by its opponents as a sword for religious intolerance. And the bill would allow any business, church, or person to cite the law as a defense in any action brought by the government or individual claiming discrimination. Opponents call it a license to discriminate against gays. And similar legislation has been introduced in Ohio, Mississippi, Idaho, South Dakota, Tennessee, and Oklahoma. But Arizona is the only one that's passed, and the efforts are stalled in Idaho, Ohio, and Kansas, so they're not dead yet there. They're just stalled. Republicans stressed that the bill is not about discrimination, but about protecting religious freedom. They frequently cite the case of a New Mexico photographer who was sued after refusing to take wedding pictures of a gay couple. They said Arizona needs a law to protect people in the state from heavy-handed actions by the court. Another frequently cited example is a suit brought against an Oregon baker who refused to make a wedding cake for a gay couple. The businesses were sued. Those efforts came under state laws that extended protected class status to gays. Arizona has no such law protecting people based on sexual orientation. So I think she's going to veto it. But
I also read that Apple's talking about pulling out their they were going to build a thing in Arizona, like they announced that last year.
She's got to veto it, dude, with the Super Bowl coming up.
Yeah, exactly. George Takei taking to the fucking airwaves to being like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been all over the internet about this and on news broadcasts and things like that. See, the thing is, like, they're trying to cite these issues of, like, this guy refused to make a cake for a gay couple. He's allowed to do that already. He's not allowed to say, hey, no gay people can ever come in here. And that's the protection that I think that's equal protection of the law. You can refuse service for anyone. You can refuse service to anyone for any reason, but not marginalize a group of people saying we don't serve this type of person.
Yeah.
It's got to be like, hey, that guy came in here, he was being a dick, or I didn't like his shoes, or his hair was stupid, or I just don't want to fucking do any more work today, so I decided to close shop. But you can't just say, like, hey, no gays allowed. It's not like fucking Clubhouse when you were 5, and you're like, no Sonias allowed in the building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
no Sonias.
To our favorite fan.
That's just because she said she liked bellies.
Dude, I'm kissing her ass as much as possible now.
You still got to ride the bike, Brian.
I know I still have to ride the bike, but at least then there's options.
But you definitely can't. I don't know, like, I think who would be stupid enough to say, like, I don't serve gays, like, like, why doesn't he just? I mean, like, they act all principled, like, I'm a Christian, and so that means that I'm entitled to my beliefs, and so I'm not going to serve gay people. And it's like, do you realize what century you actually live in? Like, just say that you didn't like the person, you didn't want to serve them because they were a jerk or something. You know what I mean? Like, don't be so stupid as to now have this. I mean, you're obviously not a very nice person to be doing this in the first place, but at least, like, don't put yourself in the pain of court like that.
Exactly.
Did you see Jon Stewart's comment on it when he was talking about grocery stores?
No.
Somebody was like, well, what if I work at a grocery store and I don't want to sell a wedding cake to a gay couple? And he goes, gay guys aren't going to buy a grocery store wedding cake.
Yeah, no shit to that. Pretty safe on that front.
Yeah, I mean, there's who's going to plan the straight weddings? They're going to get out of the wedding business. I mean, like, those are all stereotypes that are funny. And somebody just sent me a really funny link to some guy drew a penis on his wife's whiteboard every single day for a year. And there's, like, artistic draw. It's funny. I just had to mention that. I'll send you guys the link too because it's hilarious. But
what the hell are you talking about?
Somebody sent me a link, and because I'm always like dicks all the way down.
Yeah, we know.
But some guy drew penises on his wife's dry erase board every single day as a joke for like a year.
Yeah.
But I mean, anyway, back to the.
Then what happened?
Nothing.
Oh.
Somebody wrote an article about it, and it was funny, and I shared it.
Okay.
But I mean, if businesses refuse service for whatever reason, blah 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 blah, then they should also get the same ramifications of we can talk shit about you. They shouldn't have a government protection to be shitty.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, I guess.
We talked about that too on A-News, but you can't discriminate against people for something they're born, for the way they're born. You shouldn't be able to. This does more than that, but yeah, I mean, they should at least be able to not be able to do that. Because people can't help the way they're born. Except for stupid people. They don't get a break. They don't cut them any slack. Can't help it.
Dumb and ugly are two things that do not get a break.
I don't care about ugly, but dumb.
Yeah, well, Doug Stanhope did a really funny bit about that one time. He was like, man, you can be born anything as long as it's not ugly. He was like, because if you're ugly, there's no support group for that. Like, there's no group of just like, yeah, we're ugly, because nobody
wants to admit it.
Yeah, nobody wants to be like, yeah, I'm ugly too.
Yeah.
Like if somebody's like, man, you're fucking ugly at the mall. You look around to like your ugly friends, and they're like, I don't know what he's talking about. He must be talking to you.
Yeah. Because I'm not ugly.
Like, I'm not ugly. He's talking to you. You're fucked. You got crooked teeth and you got a beer gut. You're fucked. So, Then we go and buy exercise bikes and garden, try to grow lettuce and shit.
Okay. Oh, I see they rebuilt a new Godzilla.
It looks good. The trailer looks fucking good.
Yeah. Hope it's better than the last one. Hope the video game's better than the last one, too.
The best part of the last one was the Taco Bell commercials that happened after.
Yeah, really. You're right.
I think you need a bigger box. Wah, wah.
Yeah, nice. Hey, did you hear about this guy who's winning on Jeopardy, pissing people off?
Yeah.
No, what about it?
Here, I'll read this story. He's doing the same thing that computer. Remember that computer? What was it called? The computer they had that was playing Jeopardy?
Watson?
Yeah,
Watson.
He's doing the same type of thing it was doing. Make sure.
I think we talked about this the other day too. Like he's betting on the most expensive things and.
Love him or hate him, Jeopardy fans will be stuck with Arthur Chu for a while. The controversial champion buzzed his way to his 5th straight victory Monday night, sealing a spot in future tournaments and adding another $20,000 to his winnings for a total of $123,600. Chu, a 30-year-old history buff from Broadview Heights, Ohio, stunned fans of the long-time-running show earlier this month using his unorthodox strategies to psych out his opponents and keeping such a heavy hand on the buzzer that he sometimes buzzed before host Alex Trebek could finish reading the questions. But Monday's showdown was far from an easy victory. Chu was clearly struggling in the game, looking like the mojo was seeping right out from underneath him every time competitors beat him to the buzzer. His favorite technique, the forest bounce, as it's known, in which he picks random categories to make the board appear jumbled in order to confuse his competitors, was rendered useless. Though the viewers at home couldn't see, he was sweating the competition literally. I was drenched in sweat. It's tough. I have a newfound respect for anyone who comes back a few times because it's a stamina thing. She was told Yahoo Finance Tuesday morning. At that point, all my buzzer mojo was stale. I had to go home and come back to tape, and I had to get used to the buzzer again. Initially, that messed me up. About halfway through, he rallied thanks to an impulse decision to switch from his dominant right hand to his left hand. Okay, that helped keep him from buzzing too early, which causes the buzzer to momentarily freeze. By the time he landed in the final Jeopardy round, he had more than double the winnings of his opponents. Chu particularly excited, the quirky breakfast foods category, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. His technique is what's the big deal. Let me see if it gets to this on here. It's not going into it.
So he rings in before Alex has a chance to read the
Not only that, but he picks the categories differently than you would traditionally do it. He picks all over the board.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't run down because traditionally people will go vertically, He doesn't do that.
Well, and I guess too, right, because then that kind of gets everyone on the same brainwave, right? Like, so I guess like everyone gets thinking about the category, but if you're jumping all over the place and you can do that, you're good at that, then I guess you maybe have an edge, right?
Yeah. Yep.
It's interesting.
There's also a lot of people that just go like the easy question and the hard question. He was doing like the $1,600 question and then a $300 question.
And then trying to find the daily double too.
Yeah, looking for that shit. That is the same guy I was talking about the other day. I read a different article about it.
And then he bets less money when he does the gambling. When he gambles his winnings, he bets low.
Yeah.
Real low.
And I mean, at what point in time do you think the other two contestants are just pissed when they get to the final round and he has double what they could even make?
Yeah.
So he could just bet $1 less than anything and still beat them, even if he's wrong.
He bets shit anyways, just because he doesn't want to lose.
Yeah.
They know they don't have a chance.
Yeah, they could double their money and still not hit where he's currently at. He would have to bet like his whole pot.
Yeah.
So is he like a jerk too? Like, is he a bit of like an ass about it? Is that why people don't like him, or is it just a strategy?
I don't know why. I don't know exactly. People don't like him because I guess he's just kind of fucking up the game, the game's rhythm. I guess because like I said, he rings in early and that kind of fucks up the host. And people like the game to go smooth. Plus, people like the game to go in vertical columns. That way they can follow it easier. And I guess he's kind of fucking things up for the people at home, making them pissed off. I don't know if he's a dick or not because I haven't even seen him play.
I want to almost look. I got to look after the show's over. I'm going to look this up on YouTube and watch a video of him.
Yeah, you should. I'm going to too.
I agree with Patrick, Robin, Angus in the chat room. I think they're just sore losers.
Kinda. I mean, it's a game. You play the game, And they should be thankful. I guess there's one article I was reading. They should be thankful because the game's 30 years old. Anybody who brings people to the game to watch it, they should be thankful.
It would be pretty funny if he was a dick, though, right? Like, he was like,
the cocky
nailed
prick.
it.
He's all, you guys. He's like, why are you guys even betting?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? What are you doing? I'm like fucking. I have double any of your money.
He's all trying to talk to him about shit while they're trying to figure out what the answer is. He's all, so, what are you doing this weekend?
Yeah, he's like, I didn't gamble anything.
I've got to figure out how I'm going to pay all the taxes on this money I'm winning.
You can't even double your money to get me off this game.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself. Ha ha. I mean, everybody would hate
Or if
him,
he drew like, if he drew like a big. Yeah, I was just gonna say that. I drew a picture of a dick.
Or a big fuck you.
Dick, $0.
Arrows pointing.
Or he wrote
arrows pointing to the left, saying like 2 losers or something like that.
Yeah, I was stupid.
I just beat them. An arrow pointing over.
Or he just put wrong answer. So fucking what?
Yeah.
I got it wrong. So what? Got it wrong on purpose. You guys still can't win. Mr. Dragonbeard wants to get in on this. I don't know. Should we let Mr. Dragonbeard go in on? I don't know.
Sure, man. We have a full chat room too.
I don't know. He hasn't invited me on his show. I don't know if I should have him on here or not. I guess I could
question him about it.
What do you want?
Hey, Reeve.
What's up?
How you doing?
I'm cool.
That's good.
You're on.
I heard your guest
Thanks for
last
joining
week.
in.
Why are you calling us?
I just wanted to say Brian was telling me how much you liked your guest last week. It put him at ease.
Oh.
Your
Yeah. Brian was wound up even after the podcast was over. He's still wound up.
I'm still wound up now, dude. Like, that guy just... Like, I hate hearing things that are wrong. Just wrong. Like, it doesn't bother me if they don't know and you can correct me.
Dude. Too funny.
But just hearing wrong bothers me to no end.
You must have a real problem with the sound of your
before.
own voice, too.
Yeah, it bothers me. That's why I don't listen back to anything I'm ever on.
Why, because you're wrong so much?
Dash it in, I'm done.
That makes sense.
I'll listen to like the first 30 seconds to make sure it's actually the episode I was on. And then I'll be like, all right, that's cool. I said everything I wanted to say. I've still got to go back and listen to the first time I was on Reap's show.
On Angry Atheist.
See how stupid I was back then versus how stupid I am now.
Why don't you just not listen to it back then, and we'll record another one, and then I'll go through and I'll go, kind of a little conflict there, a little hypocrisy going on there. I'll play sound bites from the first one.
Wait, you'll just like chime in and fucking
Oh,
correct
you know
me?
what?
What?
That would be a great idea, Reap, for you to like do like some episodes of Angry Atheist with like Brian. Have you been on the Angry Atheist?
Al's been on, but he's not on the call right now.
Yeah, Al left.
Oh, okay. So it'd be fun. It'd be cool if you did like new episodes, one with Al, one with me, one with Brian, and
You're just
and,
trying
like,
to get on the show
and
again.
you did exactly what you're describing. No, I don't. Well, dude, I don't give a fuck. Don't do me. Just do Brian. We'll look at how stupid he's become.
I think I've gotten smarter at some stuff, but more fucking obtuse about other things.
Really? So it all evens out, right?
Yeah, I just balance out. I can be smart in one area, but I've got to be a jackass in another.
Nice.
But when I tone down the jackass, I can get smarter in another.
Nice. I see the dude from Ghostbusters died.
Yeah, that's kind of shitty. It took so long to try to make Ghostbusters 3.
Yeah.
And fucking Bill Murray never would sign off on it. Now they're never going to get to do it.
Yeah, him and Bill Murray were friends too, weren't they?
Yeah. Bill Murray just didn't want to do a Ghostbusters 3.
I don't blame him.
He even signed up. I read an article. I'm not sure how valid it was, but he had signed up to do another ghost busting type movie just in protest to doing a Ghostbusters 3.
I think what happened was he sat down with Dan Aykroyd twice to try and talk about the script, and Dan Aykroyd would not negotiate with him about anything in it.
Yeah.
So he just thought it was a shitty script.
Dan Aykroyd's kind of a kook.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Ancient Aliens. Like, I mean, I met him one time. He came to the bar I worked at because he was promoting his Crystal Skull vodka.
Yeah.
And the bar owners had paid him to come there and be like, hey, blah, blah, blah. He tripped over a fucking bus tub and didn't give a shit. He broke like a whole thing of glasses. Because he was drunk as dicks when he got there. He was like, hey, I'm Dan Aykroyd. Blah. He banged into a bus tub, shattered a bunch of glasses.
Yeah, I used to write for a website that was supposed to be owned by him, a paranormal site.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's weird, man.
Yeah.
He was a nice guy. I shook his hand through the fucking cell window and shit, but still, he was fucking wasted as fuck on a tour bus, going up and down the street selling Crystal Skull vodka.
Very courageous.
And I was like, you really think aliens fucking...
Hey, Rick Warren, get off the fucking show, buddy.
And the fact that he made it that long, he was suicidal even at an early age.
Rick Warren's telling us about his son.
National news about my son's suicide.
You won't shut the fuck up.
Well, I may as well grieve.
Shut up, Rick. We'll talk about you in a minute. Sorry.
Do you have somebody just calling in, or is that just like a video?
No, it's, I was going to talk about Rick Warren says that mental illness is a church concern. Duh. Because his son committed suicide, you know?
I don't even know who that is.
You know who Rick Warren is? Google him. He's a fucking idiot.
Now I got to research.
He's a fucking idiot. He's one of those guys that tweets all kinds of fucking stupid religious bullshit, and then he never...
Oh, I know who that. Yeah, I know who that is. Never mind.
He's the founder of the Saddleback Church. Okay. He's a best-selling author. He's an idiot, religious nut. His son committed suicide, and he's talking about how, because of his son committing suicide, he suddenly realized that mental illness is a concern that the church should have. They should be concerned about people who have mental illnesses. And I think I agree with him totally on that. And that would be every single person that goes to church would be all underneath that umbrella, wouldn't they? I think it'd be safe to say, to some point, they have some kind of delusional shit going on.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a post earlier this week by somebody saying that we shouldn't condemn them as having mental illness, and I mean, I agree that it's not a mental illness to be religious. It's you got fucking tricked. You got tricked at a very young.
I don't know. Man.
I honestly think, and because I was last night I had dinner with an atheist friend, and we were talking about like the relationship between IQ and whether or not you'd be an atheist or whether or not you'd escape from like your mental, I guess, state and how it relates to whether or not you'll be an atheist or able to break free from religion. And I actually think that maybe having a higher IQ might make it easier for you to escape religion, but it doesn't necessarily mean that if you have IQ that you will be an atheist. You know what I mean? Because I think indoctrination and brainwashing can be done to anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But people with a higher IQ might be a little bit more likely to think a little more critically, maybe, but only if they have that kind of stimulus in their environment and they learn that.
I was actually listening to Michael Shermer talk about intelligence and people having entrenched views, and there's actually, I guess, quite a bit of research saying that the more intelligent you are, the more easy it becomes to defend your beliefs and become entrenched after you get used to them. So there's some misconceptions there, I think, about how that works.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm buying that either. There's too many variables to make a distinct, one way or the other. I
think a lot of it comes down to if you're taught not to question things.
Yeah.
If you just taught, because you can be smart as shit and be like, if I read it in the book, that's accurate because it's published. You can be smart as shit that way and never taught to question, to be skeptical. Like if you teach skepticism, I think you'll eventually come to correct answers.
Yeah, but even if you teach skepticism, that doesn't mean that there aren't going to be holes in that.
Well, yeah, we talked to Ernest last week. We know that. So, I mean, that can fuck up, too.
That's my point.
So,
I think it's just attitude. Whether you're the smartest guy in the room or not, if your attitude is, I'm right, fuck off, then you're never going to challenge your views.
Yeah, I'll play part of it, too. If you don't consider other people's opinions, because you're always convinced you're right already.
Yeah. There's some times where, like, I just refuse to consider their opinion when they're like, well, let me tell you about my version of the Bible.
Some extremes, I don't give a shit. There's some things that, you're not going to... Everybody has a line where they go, okay, that's just bullshit. I'm not going to think about that shit.
Yeah, like, if they're like, hey, we live in the desert, but it might snow. Okay.
Yeah, whatever.
I get that it might, like, one time, sometime, it might snow in, like, the Caribbean.
I was going to ask you guys that, too, if you find yourself in that situation where you just, like, put out people, just fuck, you don't even want to fucking talk about it anymore. Just fuck off when you hear them.
I will always engage them for about 20 seconds until they get to something. I just go, that's fucking dumb. Did you read that somewhere? And then they kind of go, what do you mean? They get all fucking abrupt and angry because I just called them fucking dumb. But
yeah, people get pissed off about that.
Yeah, sometimes. But sometimes I think I just got to, when they're like, no, let me tell you about this fucking thing. And I'm just like, dude, that's not I know you read an article that you think's awesome, but it's just broken. And I can go through and show you how all these things, the points that they make are broken. And they're like, no, it made really good sense. And I'm like, do you know what that means? I don't think it means what you think it means.
I usually just tell people, I'm not calling you stupid. I'm just saying you're being stupid. Not that you are stupid. You're just being stupid in this instance. So
yeah, it's hard to get some people. Like, I've had people be like, they'll be okay with like, oh yeah, no, it's okay that you're an atheist, blah, blah, blah. I'm a Christian, and I think this way. And I was like, that's cool. That's inaccurate. And they're like, well, I mean, I just, it's something I believe. And I was like, that's great.
And you're dumb and inaccurate.
I was like, I've believed in stuff too. Like, I believed in Santa Claus at one point in time. The Easter Bunny, I thought a giant fucking 7-foot rabbit hopped into my house and left me chocolate. I believed that at one point in my life.
Yeah,
it's not
crazy.
fucking true. Like, I met him at the mall. I had evidence. It's bad evidence. So not everything you can read on the internet and not everything you can just read is true. And you have to take it with a grain of salt and actually look into it and see, like, is there any evidence that backs it up?
What is this about seeing a giant rabbit?
No, when I was a kid, I believed in the Easter Bunny and shit like that too.
You actually saw him?
No, we had one at the fucking mall. That's where they go, right?
No, I thought you said he came into your house.
No, I believe that Easter Bunny came into my house and left me chocolate.
Oh, okay. I thought you walked in on him and your mom or something like that.
No, my dad wasn't wearing a rabbit suit, or the mailman wasn't wearing a rabbit suit.
Checking.
Nothing came into my house in a rabbit suit.
You said that.
I believed it did.
No, it came into your mom in a rabbit suit.
They were scritching and shit.
Man, your mom really celebrates Easter.
She likes them fucking thunder carrots.
Yeah, Easter is all about the second coming, so I guess.
Yeah, it's supposed to be hiding eggs, not sausages.
She's all about some Cadbury eggs.
And Terry, that was let me see, uncharacteristically tacky of you, that joke.
Yeah, well, that's it. I got to ham it up sometimes.
I mean, let's judge him for it. Make him feel uncomfortable.
I don't know if we can do that.
You can't. I can't. I'm pretty cool. I'm pretty down.
Yeah.
Well, I remember last week we were going to have Ernest on. He was like, "How about I be the asshole like Brian, and Brian be like the cool, calm, sophisticated guy like me?" And I was like, "I don't think you can play asshole, and I don't think I can play cool, calm, sophisticated."
Yeah, you guys do not switch places well, I don't think.
I think Jerry could probably play the asshole easier than I could play sophisticated.
I don't know, maybe.
It requires something to be sophisticated.
I don't think Terry would be able to keep it up, though. He's too nice. He's a nice guy.
I can't. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sure. Sure, you could say that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I was gonna say something now. I'm totally sidetracked. You got me all fucked up.
Sorry.
Lay off the Diet Coke.
Yeah, the Diet Pepsi. Get it straight. Man, it's all that aspartame backing up into my brain. I can't think straight.
It'll be
If
okay.
we say both, we get a check for both, right?
Besides, it just so happens we're at the end of the show, so you can lose it if you want to. Go ahead and go crazy.
I would like to see Terry try to be a clever asshole, like, for a long period of time.
Maybe you can do that next week.
Oh, I can be clever, just not an asshole.
Oh, well, that's useless.
Yeah.
Well, because I guess my cleverness doesn't usually come at the expense of others.
Oh.
That's why I've a long time.
I think that was a jab.
Yeah, I think that one just did, so you're lying to us now.
That's a good point.
You guys are very astute.
Okay, promote yourselves. We'll let the guest go first.
Is that me?
Yeah, that's you, guest.
Are you a regular on the fucking show?
You know you called in, right?
All right, so I'm Mr. Dragonbeard. My site is apostasienow.net.
All right. Terry? Put down that Diet
Terry
Pepsi.
Secree, you can... What? Oh, the Pepsi is long gone. You can find me on Facebook if you look hard enough, and you can find me at analyzedatheist.tumblr.com, and I'm also on Twitter at the Analyzed Atheist.
Brian.
I'm done.
I was waiting for either somebody to be like, I'm done, or go again. Follow me at apartmentj.com and follow me on Twitter at Brian Allen APTJ. You can find me on Facebook, all that stuff where I say dicks, and all of other dumb shit I say. Apparently next week I've got to be the sophisticated guy, and Terry's going to be the smart asshole or asshole.
I'll find appropriate subjects for you guys to be able to do that.
It'll be fun. I don't know.
What are you going to, like, we're going to talk about food? Because I know more about food. So I can be smart about it.
Yeah, just to mention it, it's going to be kind of challenging.
Yeah, because I'm not really
food too.
I have like general knowledge about dumb things and odd things. And I have Google, so
yeah,
I can just read it. Oh, I found a paper.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do that.
Actually, I don't want to do that because I have fun being the asshole guy. Like, I don't even want to play the game. I'll just let him try to be an asshole too. We could have an asshole off and just rip on each other for about 30, 40 minutes.
Chicken. Okay, you've been listening to ReapSow Radio. You can hear us next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific on godlessradio.net, ReapSowRadio.com, and we're going to wrap it up with John Wayne from Billy Idol, because I like Billy Idol still. Is he still alive, even?
I have no idea.
I'll see.